Are they $3?
With the sign up is $3. Yeah.
Do we have to turn in our?
T-shirts are $10 and sweatshirts are $20. They are awesome. Be sure that you order one so you can be one of the cool kids.
Do we have to turn in our T-shirts and stuff forms worth our $3?
It doesn't have to. It has to be in that same time period. It doesn't have to be the same day. But the order period ends September 9th, just like registration ends September 9th. And I want to emphasize that September 9th is a hard deadline. So if you say, well, I'm just going to put it off, and wait until that Wednesday to register, and then all of a sudden you get sick, or grandma's in the hospital, or something happens, too bad. You shouldn't have waited till the last day. So I would suggest that you get registered early. Thank you, Blake. All right, so worksheet and book. Tell me what and the problem number. Here we go. Who had a question? Mr. Allerton.
13 on the book.
In the book. Number 13 in the review exercises says, now do not panic, Mr. Allerton. This is on a number line. It's not on the coordinate plane because they're not ordered pairs. They're just numbers. So it says from -5 to 14. What's that distance? Well, you don't need a formula for that. What's the distance from -5 to 14? 19. So your distance is 19. Doesn't it say find the distance and the midpoint? What's the midpoint? Midpoint is always the average. So what's the average of -5 and 14?
You want me to answer it?
Yeah, I would love for you to answer it.
9/2.
9/2. Perfect. So you answered your own question. Awesome. Anybody else have a question from the book? Robert?
26.
26. -5, 4.
Wait, I'm sorry, actually, number 15.
15. Show that this is supposed to be a right triangle. So, -2, 1, 3, 11, 2.
Thank you.
And 7, 9. Okay, that's supposed to be a right triangle, more or less. Oh boy, I don't know. Okay. Well, there are a couple of ways I could show I had a right triangle. Can you think of one? What's it mean to be a right triangle? You got a 90-degree angle in there. And if you have a 90-degree angle, then two of those sides have to be equal? No, they have to be perpendicular. And so that means their slopes would have to be opposite reciprocals. So one strategy, and there's another one, but one strategy would be to find the slope of each side and see if any of them turn out to be opposite reciprocals. Now my picture, which isn't very good, but it looks like that might be my best bet for a right angle. So I'm going to find this slope, 11 minus 1 over 3 minus -2. That slope is 2. So what do I need this one to be? So 9 minus 11 over 7 minus 3, that's -2 over 4, which is -1/2. So do I have a right triangle? Yes, I do, because these slopes are opposite reciprocals, which means I have perpendicular lines. What would be another strategy? That's probably the fastest, easiest, but there would be another one. If it's a right triangle, what very important and famous theorem must apply? The Pythagorean Theorem. So if I found this length, and this length using my distance formula, and I squared them all, two of them would have to add up to the third one, right? So that would be another way you could prove it. You do not need to do both, but you're either going to show you got a right angle or you're going to show the Pythagorean theorem works. All right? Anybody, is that okay? Anybody else have a question about one of our problems, either on the worksheet or in the book? Yes, Nick?
26 in the book.
26, negative 5, 4 to negative 5. And I need to write the equation of the line?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we know how to do that. What do we need to write the equation of the line?
The slope.
We need to find the slope first. Negative 9/7. It's kind of gross, but it is what it is. Now what do we do?
Plug the slope and then one of the points into
Yep.
the equation.
And are you going to use point slope or slope intercept? What's your favorite way?
Point slope.
Point slope. So y minus 4 equals negative 9/7 x plus 5. Everybody get the plus 5 part there? So y minus 4 equals negative 9/7 x minus 45/7. I looked at my directions and it said the answer in standard form. And the standard form of a line is something like 5x plus 4y minus 18 equals 0. Or 5x plus 4y equals 18. Those are both considered standard form depending on what book you're looking at. So I'm going to go ahead and rather than get y by itself, which is what I would normally do, because of these directions, I'm going to multiply by 7. Just get rid of those fractions. So I have 7y minus 28 equals negative 9x minus 47. And then I'm going to move my x over, so I have 9x plus 7y. And then they want me to have it set equal to 0, so I'm going to move the 47 over. And what is that, plus 19? Check my arithmetic. And that would be the answer to the question.
Okay.
Now, most of us who do equations don't like this because it's harder to graph, it's harder to plot points, it's just harder to do a whole lot of things. But the directions said write it that way, so I'll write it that way.
Would it be minus 45?
Ooh. Oh, yeah. I don't know how I got 47. No idea. So this is the 17, is that better? Thank you. Okay. Who else had a question about something from the book or the worksheet that we didn't get to yesterday? Robert?
23.
23. Okay, 23 is a midpoint problem backwards. We have been given, in 23, we've been given one endpoint, negative 1, 1. And we've been given the midpoint, which is 3, 5. And we have to find the other endpoint. Okay, is that your understanding of the problem, Robert?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we can do this a couple different ways. Like always, we can always do it different ways. Anyone have an idea of one of those ways? Dan?
Could you find the distance between point A and point B right there?
Yeah, and not exactly, you don't mean like the distance in terms of the distance formula.
Yeah.
You mean if I'm standing on negative 1 and I walk to 3, look at just the x's for a minute. If I'm standing on negative 1 and I walk to 3, how many steps have I taken? Thank you. I took 4 steps. So doesn't it make sense that if I took 4 steps to get to here, that I'd take 4 to get to here? So this would be 7. And then likewise with the y's, Coincidentally, we're also taking 4 steps. So we'll take 4 more, and that would be the end point. So that is indeed one strategy. That's one strategy. Can anybody think of another strategy? I mean, if that makes sense to you, that's awesome. It'll work every time. Could we also, this was x, y, we didn't know what that was. Could we also say -1 plus x divided by 2 would equal 3? In other words, the average of these two is 3, and solve that? It'd be way more work, but you could do it that way if you wanted to. All right? Who else? Anybody else have a question that you found on the worksheet or in the book? Okay, here's what I want you to do then. Go ahead and group yourselves in your little groups here and get busy. We've got a ton of problems to do.